I'd like to call the June 6th, 2022 Common Council meeting to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Vincent.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Clerk Treasurer Parthune.
Councilman Vincent.
Here.
Councilman Galloway.
Here.
Councilwoman Cutler.
Present.
Councilwoman West.
Here.
Councilwoman Konechny. Absent. Councilman Frankie.
Here.
Councilwoman Ficus.
Present.
6 present, 1 absent.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Petitions and comments of the citizens. Levi Allen, come forward. Please state your name and address for the record. And welcome this evening.
Hello, everyone. My name is Levi Allen, and I live at 309 Pine Lake Avenue. Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, it is an honor to address you here tonight. My wife and I have lived here in LaPorte since June 2020, and we very much enjoy living here. It's been a wonderful home to us and our 6-month-old while I complete my PhD at the University of Notre Dame in political science. I will resist the urge. We often feel as academics and not practice my art of filibustering, so let me please be as concise as I can. On May 18th, 19 days ago, at approximately 2:35, a lakeshore trash truck hit our mailbox, damaging it beyond repair. It bent the frame of the mailbox, broke the screws holding it into the base, and broke the handle on one of the doors. It is, in my estimation, irreparable. I did not witness the trash truck explicitly hit it, but after hearing the commotion, I went to the kitchen window and saw the trash collector attempting to put it back on. He placed it loosely back on the stand, setting the broken doors inside while the driver yelled, "Let's just leave it and move on." And let me pause for a moment as I feel this is an important early point in this story. Had I not witnessed this part of the event, I would have never known who hit and damaged my mailbox. They did not leave a note, but they simply drove off, hoping to escape any responsibility for the damage they had caused. I then called Jamie Novak in the engineer's office, who was most helpful in trying to contact the trash company. And I do wish to take a moment and praise her efforts. If all of the government throughout the United States was run as competently as Jamie does her job, the world would be a better place. She has been pleasant and sympathetic, always answering my many phone calls and directing me to various city resources. I am grateful for her efforts, and the city is very lucky to have her. According to the email she received from RTS, a few days later, the owner of Lakeshore Trash stopped by my home unannounced and took pictures of the mailbox. Either we were not home or we did not hear him. Nonetheless, I do not find this behavior, walking around on someone's property and taking pictures without their consent, appropriate. I then called Jamie back, and she gave me the number for her RTS contact. I spoke with Jason Kramer, who is the RTS contact. He was very deferential and kind over the phone, saying that he would look into it. And he emailed me late on May 24th asking for more pictures. I explained that pictures won't help as it is difficult to simulate a door falling out. That is the last time I spoke to RTS. I have left them voicemails and emails, but they won't return them, and I cannot get a hold of RTS. I then spoke with Jamie again, who suggested that Jeff Batchelor from Code Enforcement come take a look. He came out to the house and took pictures, and I also want to take a moment and praise his efforts. He was understanding and supportive and has done what he can to rectify the situation. Again, the city of LaPorte is fortunate to have such dedicated public servants. I finally, 8 days after my mailbox was hit, got in contact with the owner of the trash company, whose name I believe is David, but I'm not for sure, who claimed that this was one large misunderstanding and that he had come to the property to take pictures to find the parts that were needed to fix the mailbox. That conversation took place on May 26th. I heard nothing back from him and called him the morning of May 31st. He was very rushed and said that he was sending someone out to look at it, and I would note that at this point, we had been told for over a week that our mailbox would be fixed, and no one had been to my house and no follow-up contact had been made. He was very condescending when we spoke over the phone, responding to my inquiry when I asked if they were going to pay for a mailbox by saying, "Please forget my bad acting." "Well, we'll just have to see when we get there, won't we?" In a childlike tone. He also thought that it might be a few more weeks, which at that point was unacceptable. On June the 1st, at 9 o'clock, he texted me. And here is a brief snippet of that conversation so that we're not here all night. "David, stop by to grab the doors for the box." Myself, "What do you mean?" "David, the doors, you said you had them." Myself, "Are you or someone else stopping by tomorrow to grab the doors?" "David, can you leave them on your front porch?" Myself, "The doors no longer fit in the mailbox because the frame of the mailbox is broken. The entire mailbox needs replaced." "David, please let me pick up the doors. Tell me when they will be available. Thank you." Myself, "If the doors are fixed, I still have a broken mailbox, and so there isn't any reason to just fix the doors. The doors will continue to fall out in the road and the sidewalk. I would be happy to show the damage of the broken mailbox to you or a representative of your company." "David, that's why I had a contractor stop by today to evaluate." Myself, "I explicitly said over the phone yesterday that I did not want anyone on my property without my consent, and this is the second time that our property has been trespassed. Once again, fixing the doors to the mailbox doesn't fix the problem. The frame is bent, so the doors won't stay in place, and the entire box needs replaced. If you are unwilling to replace the mailbox, please just say so." He then responded that the reason it wasn't being fixed was that it was my fault, because I was not letting him come to my house. So I offered for him to come to the home and see the damage the next day. You will be shocked to know that he was busy, but he was willing to meet. I sent him my availability on June 1st, and I'm still waiting for a meeting to be scheduled. I promise I'm almost done. So here we sit on June the 6th, almost 3 weeks after my mailbox was damaged, and RTS, as well as the owner of Lakeshore Trash, has yet to do anything, dodging my phone calls and demeaning me when we do speak. I am not attempting to fleece down the city or RTS or Lakeshore. I simply want restitution for my damaged property paid by those who are responsible. After my pregnant wife was fishing mail out of Pine Lake Avenue, we've elected to have our mail held at the post office, meaning that for the past 2 weeks, we have received our mail in 1-week increments. Bills, paperwork from doctor's appointments, letters and cards from family, all delayed, not to mention the hassle of driving to the post office day after day after day. And so tonight I'm speaking before the City Council, not simply to air my grievances, but for 2 reasons. First, this is my last gasp to try and hold those who damage my property accountable and have my mailbox fixed. The City Council may have no ability to do anything, and I want to be clear, none of you bear responsibility for what they did to the mailbox. But notwithstanding that fact, I am asking for those of you on the council to use your weight to push Lakeshore Trash or RTS to pay for the damage. As it stands right now, my family is the one who is going to bear this cost, and we have already spent many hours of our valuable time, including being here on a Monday night at this meeting to try and rectify this situation. Not only is my mailbox broken, but these company representatives were willing to drive off after damaging my mailbox, dodge my phone calls, demean me when we speak, and continually trespass on my property. That is simply unacceptable. Second, the reason I speak tonight is in regard to something that you and Mayor Dermody's office can do, which is to make sure that RTS and Lakeshore never collects trash for the city again. We as constituents have vested our political power in you, our city council and mayor. And indeed, this is at the heart of indirect democracy. My wife and I are just 2 citizens in a city of over 21,000, but you wield our collective power. And I ask that when this current trash contract expires, you do not consider RTS, and subsequently you do not allow the company that wins the bid to contract with Lakeshore. I also ask that there are provisions in the contract that give citizens like myself specific mechanisms to level the playing field by allowing for the redress of our grievances when we're stonewalled by these large corporations. Do not reward this unacceptable behavior with a contract that is probably worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. No doubt that when RTS won the contract, they in turn sold to the lowest bidder out there, and we have subsequently received service that is comparable to well trash. I thank you for your time tonight, and again, I'm grateful to live in a city with so many dedicated public servants. Thank you.
Thank you, Levi. And Levi, if you would get a quote of what do you think it's going to cost tomorrow, and I will contact you tomorrow. The council and Nick Otis and myself have met with RTS. This was an inherited contract for this administration, and they just tried to pass an 8.5% increase, which was denied by the entire council and this administration, and this will be addressed tomorrow, so you don't have to wait any longer. So if you have that quote, and I'll get your cell phone before you leave.
Really appreciate it.
And Carol, I think you worked well.
I spoke with you for,
Thank you for Carol for responding as well. Thank you, Levi. Levi, don't take offense to this, but I'm going to remind Blair Milo, we do have a 3-minute public comment, and I would like to invite Blair Milo up to speak. So don't think that was towards you. That was a reminder. I forgot to remind Levi.
I'm an academic, I can't help it.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I will be brief. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you this evening. I am coming before you because I have the opportunity this weekend to serve as a Gold Star athlete for the Iron Man Foundation. And as a part of that experience, that means I get to run in honor of a Gold Star family. And so I will be carrying this flag, which some have seen me running around town carrying this flag, in honor of Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Shine, and he was a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force who was missing in action in 1972 and was declared MIA for almost 24 years before they were able to relocate his remains in North Vietnam. And so I've had an incredible experience getting to connect with his daughter Colleen, who currently serves as the national spokesperson and actually national liaison for prisoners of war, MIA families, for all veteran service organizations. And so just an incredible family. There's so many things that I could share that I have learned about Lieutenant Colonel Shine that are just really incredible. But I will spare you some of those for this evening. And I am just here this evening that I would like to send greetings to Colleen and the Shine family from the city of LaPorte on behalf of the mayor and the council, and was hoping that you would be able to take a picture with my flag and then a plaque that I have put together that includes a favorite poem that Colleen has shared with me was her father's favorite poem called If by Rudyard Kipling. And so I would highly encourage folks that if you're not familiar with that poem to check it out. If you are, it's always worth a reread. So my request this evening is just a quick picture with the flag and the...
Do you mind sharing about Officer Shine?
Absolutely. So very quickly, he was one of 4 children that were all active duty at the same time during Vietnam. He was the oldest of 4 siblings. And during the time period that his youngest brother was commissioned from West Point, shortly after commissioning, he got married and then was shipped out to North Vietnam. It was not long after that First Lieutenant Jonathan Shine was killed in action. And at the time, Captain Shine, Anthony Shine, was active in theater. He escorted the body back to the United States to be with his family, to be a part of that funeral service. At the time, as I said, all 4 children were active duty at this point. And so he came back to then be with his family, to be a part of that ceremony, and then went back to Vietnam to continue his service, only to then, shortly after a year, to go missing in action. And then, so that was in 1972. For 24 years, his family had the designation that he was missing in action. So they're a rare family that they actually were able to recover the remains so that they do have some closure at this point. But there are many, many families out there that never actually get that closure. And so I've learned from Colleen over time too that this is the Gold Star Initiative, so we do recognize Gold Star families as a part of this, but prisoner of war, missing in action families are technically not Gold Star families because they never get that full certification and closure. So it's important to recognize the service of not only Gold Star families, but prisoner of war, missing in action families as well. And so out of their family, 2 of the 4 siblings, all of whom served, were able to come home. And they are the children of a World War II veteran. Their father was a World War II veteran, so a very patriotic family. So the sacrifice that this family, the Shine family, has made for this country is immense. And I am deeply thankful for all I've gotten to learn from Colleen about her father and her family. And that's why I wanted to share who Lieutenant Shine, or Lieutenant Colonel Shine, was, to continue sharing his story. And Jonathan Shine's story, and to share how much we appreciate Gold Star families, because oftentimes they're not able to share their stories as much as they should.
Thank you for representing their family. Any other thoughts, comments?
It's amazing. Thank you.
How about a photo together?
Here we go again. Stand on my tiptoes. I did in one picture, and they got it down to VFW, my finger circle.
Councilman Galloway, would you hold the flag? We want to flip that around.
Sarah just said, Courtney, we can't see you. I go, I know.
Where would you like to hold this?
Here, I'll come back this way.
We'll go Amanda, then Sarah. Thank you for honoring this family.
Sunday in Cambridge, Maryland.
Oh, wow.
You doing a full? Are you doing a full? Half. Still impressive.
Thank you, Blair.
Thank you for allowing a little extra time.
Absolutely. Standing committee reports. Mr. President, Frankie.
The school board met last Tuesday. I think the public's well aware of what happened there. We still don't have a football coach is the big news. And redevelopment commission met on Wednesday. First part of the meeting was at the Don George property where some brainstorming on ideas occurred. And then the actual meeting part here went in about 5 minutes, so nothing to report there. The Diversity and Inclusion Committee met last Thursday, and it was the first meeting in several months since the new HR administrator took over, kind of picking up pieces where they were left off and planning for summer activities and things for the committee to get out in the public and help raise awareness. That's all I've got.
Councilwoman Ficus.
Park Board met on May 18th. With summer upon us, please remember, if your plans call for visiting our parks, here are some things to keep in mind. Restrooms are open from approximately 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and the parks close at 10 p.m. Lifeguards will be on duty at Stone Lake Beach from 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. The splash pad at Unity Park is available from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. No dogs are allowed on Stone Lake Beach from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Do not feed the waterfowl. Do not jump from, dive from, or swim within 50 feet of any bridge. No fires except in places provided for such purposes. And then lastly, do not bring any glass containers into any park or recreation area. And then Traffic Commission will meet tomorrow at the police station at the new time of 5 p.m.
Councilman Vincent.
Nothing to add this evening.
Councilman Galloway.
The Memorial Day celebration, I thought was very good. And I was attending pretty well. This Saturday, June the 11th at 2 o'clock at Soldier Memorial Park, we have a brick dedication. And let's see, Police Merit Commission meets a week from tomorrow, 2 o'clock at Police Station. That's all I have.
Councilwoman Cutler.
The June meeting of the bid board will be next Monday, June 13th at 5 p.m. in council chambers, and the UEA will meet on Wednesday, June 15th at 4 p.m. at the LEAP offices.
Councilwoman West.
Last week's fire merit meeting was rescheduled to this week due to a lack of a quorum. So it'll be this Wednesday at 6:30 at the station, house number 1 on 18th Street. A couple updates on office and the street department. Since the start of the year, the street department has fixed over 10,000 potholes, used 400 pounds of chrome rubber to repair the roads. And due to the lack of new hires, only emergency tree removal has happened. And they're doing their best to keep up with the grass cutting and picking up the brush. And new banners have been put up around the city. They are hopeful that they can start milling on the streets this week. And as they will begin to be repaired this year, which they plan to begin on the 16th of this month. Code enforcement has had to deal with over 1,650 code violations, and their focus has been on overgrown grass throughout the city. And also, code enforcement is looking to establish a housing initiative that will focus on establishing a landlord registry with a committee meeting once a month. And I would like to thank the mayor and his wife Jackie for stopping out at the fairgrounds for the Region 2 Abate event. And Abate, which stands for American Bikers Aimed Toward Education, which is a nonprofit organization aimed towards safety, education, and charitable advocacy that promotes safety, protects rights, and helps others through their work. And I would like to thank our fire department for their attendance at the fairgrounds and hanging the large American flag for all the riders to drive under for the start of a 3-school ride with all the riders throughout LaPorte County to honor Jake West from LaPorte High School, Zach Mago from John Glenn, and Mark Mayfield from New Prairie High School. And I also just want to shout out to the officers for traffic control and Walkerton Police and a couple of volunteer fire departments for traffic control to protect all the riders. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ficus, second and final reading.
Your Honor, I move to read an ordinance for the second time by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Ficus.
Additional appropriation for ARP Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, Fund Number 2401.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Reminder what this is regarding.
Just several, the big one, I guess, is salaries for fire and police that we're
Yes.
funding, and then just some other projects that are being funded through the American Rescue Plan dollars. And as a reminder, any project that we do using American Rescue Plan funds, you will see an additional appropriation for.
Comments from the public? Anybody from the public would like to speak on this? Hearing none, council comments? I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Councilwoman Ficus.
Your Honor, I move to read an ordinance for the second time by title only.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Ficus.
An ordinance establishing an automatic snow emergency declaration.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Could we have a brief reminder of this ordinance?
This is just going to make sure that we have a snow emergency in place because we had one before and it kind of fell by the wayside. So this way, everybody kind of knows that we have a set plan for when you call a snow emergency.
Well, last winter, we would have to draft emergency orders,
Ordinances, yeah.
and they'd have to happen pretty quickly, and there's 3 or 4 different people at the city involved, and it would be cumbersome, and then getting that information out to the public was also difficult. So I think the idea behind it is to make it more efficient.
And this is based on the rate of snowfall, if I
It
recall,
is.
right?
Right.
Anybody from the public that would like to speak on this ordinance? Anybody from the public?
Nobody wants to talk about snow.
They're done with snow. Anybody from the council? Council comments? Hearing none, I do have a motion and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Councilman Vincent.
Honorable Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for a second and final reading of an ordinance by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilman Vincent.
An ordinance establishing prohibited parking.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion, could you put a reminder in on this?
Yeah, so this is, we're on even numbered days of the month, you park on one side of the street, or on odd numbered days, you park on the other side of the street. I don't think I'm gonna reread all these streets again. It's pretty, pretty long list. From last meeting, we wanted to talk about some language here related to snow emergencies that we wanted to pull out of this. So if everyone's okay with that, I'd like to make a motion that we take the snow emergency language out and pass the ordinance as recently drafted by Attorney Otis.
So you'd like to, I'm sorry,
There was, I think, just I don't know if it was an error or just a request, and I believe I made that night and sent it back out, correct?
You did?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure did.
so do I have a motion to amend this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to amend this ordinance. Discussion, anybody from the public who would like to speak on the amendment? Anybody from the council? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Amendment passes 6-0. Is there a motion now for an amended
To
motion?
approve the amended
To
motion.
approve the amended motions.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Anybody from the public? This will allow us year-round, too, to clean streets, sweep.
Yeah, I
So
was going to say
forth.
that leaf
So get all the-
removal, snow plowing, also the street sweeper.
Anybody from the public? Any council comments? Hearing none, I do have a motion and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Couple of topic items. The career fair tomorrow from 3 to 6 at the Civic. It's an opportunity to change your life potentially. Take a look. We've had quite a bit of interest, and we have over 40 companies that will be showing at the Civic, including City of LaPorte. A reminder, 2 p.m. Saturday, let's honor the veterans at the brick dedication. Any other comments from the council? Any comments from
Nope.
social media?
Nope.
Do I have a motion to approve, or to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
I have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Everybody have a great evening.
Thank